Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I'm watching the video of our intro, and I laugh because we look so different. We look different, but we look the same. So it's like I don't know. It's just so funny, you know.
Yep. Like I miss my long, silky black hair. Little things like
Well,
that.
and we look younger. We look, not that there's anything wrong with our age, but it's just I don't know. It's so funny. I went back and forth with my weight. I started off heavy, then I lost a bunch, then I slowly gained it back. Now I'm losing it again. But it's funny because the, it's so much more noticeable the difference in the weight loss when I was losing it then than now. Like I've lost weight now, but it's like that was so noticeable. So it's so funny. So look at that. You have been with us for 3 years. Welcome everyone to Viva Cafe con Leche. And happy Thursday. We're here to hang out with you this morning, drink some coffee. We could even have a conversation. Let's talk about coffee a little bit today. How's that sound? Glad to
Yes.
be here. And the conversation today is how bad do you want it? How bad do you want your cup of coffee? Or in Milagros' case, cup of tea?
Milagros is on.
No,
Are
not
we
yet.
on Facebook?
We weren't and we should be now. I know
Okay.
it's so weird. It's like we log in and we start and it says we're live and then all of a sudden it says Facebook had trouble. So now we should be very much live. We should be. It says we are.
I'm just finding so we can share. Um, but yes, coffee, I'm getting my pages ready for today, writing down the stuff. And I ran into one that's like this thin of a way from today, and it was Hello August. I cannot believe today is August 24th already.
I know. It's nuts.
Cannot believe that. The thing that happens with all of that, every time I am like wowed at how quickly the time has gone by, it's just like poof. The biggest mistake we make as humans is believing we have more time. There's
Yeah,
no there's
absolutely.
no time. There's no time to get that youthful elastic skin back. There's no time to sit and wait and want and wish. There's only time to be so that we may do. And if you don't live in your truth, if you don't walk in your truth, if you are not who your mouth says you are, then you're always going to be busy. Busy lying about who you are, busy covering up what you're doing. Because so just be present within yourself with no self inflictions of disgust, remorse, regret. Be with yourself so that anything you set out to do, you will be busy doing what your desires are, your dreams are, your goals are. You will be being busy living your purpose. See,
Yeah.
a lot of people say, I am busy being whatever. Well, let's flip that bitch like one of the shows from back then. And let's just be. Like, don't be busy. Don't busy yourself being. Just be who you are. And then the busyness is just you flowing into your vision and being the best you can possibly be at any age, whatever age you are at this time. It doesn't matter the mistakes you made, doesn't matter the fallbacks you took. What matters is you're here now saying, no mas, this is what I want. And if you can do that for yourself, then there's nothing anyone can do against you.
Yeah.
Because if you are always for yourself and you know, what is the biggest lie we tell ourselves?
Are you asking or is it rhetorical?
Yeah, I know I'm asking. What is the biggest lie we tell ourselves? Good morning, Tiffany Bryan.
There's so many. Is there just one?
And have you ever, I was with some people, and I'm listening, and if anybody knows me, they know that I'm present, but I'm not, because I'm so into studying the room, and I'm listening to one person in particular, and they're just lying, like everything that came out their mouths. And then the biggest thing they say is, "What? I hate liars." And you sit back and you just smirk, because I'm not fighting battles that are not mine no more. I'm just sharpening my scissors. And so, and you look at that, and I said, I had to talk about it today, because we go through life falsely accusing, lying on people, creating scenarios that do not exist just to make somebody look bad. And then those are the very people that get mad when you confront them with it, or you bring it up, or you have that uncomfortable conversation. So don't be that person. And if you are, don't do it anymore, because if you're going to cheat yourself, treat yourself. Say, okay, I can't eat this cheeseburger. No, it's not worth it anymore. So treat yourself to something that your mind, body, and spirit are going to enjoy. It's always in that moment that we want that ecstasy. Think about it. It's a lustful event when we want to eat something we know damn well is not good for us. Good morning, Miggy.
And Tiffany. Good morning, Tiffany,
It's
Brian.
that instant satisfaction. What are we feeding? Are we feeding those inner demons, and then we let it go, and then we get all bent out of shape when we're asked about a certain behavior, or we're told about a certain behavior? So, you know, it's the end of August. Let's take it at that. It's the end of August, and the fall is going to start. Are you going to fall forward, or you continue going? Will you continue to fall backwards and blame everybody around you? Will you continue to fall backwards and say, it's not my fault, I was trying to be nice? I had a productive week outside of my normal, and it was a learning process with people. And I'm telling you that if you can't take criticism, if you can't take someone who loves you to tell you about yourself, get out of the game. Isolate yourself, become a hermit, because you may lie to yourself, but people around you see that you're just full of shit. We don't want to be full of shit at our age anymore. So let's move on. Let's think positive, and let's do the mantra. And half of that goes to me with my eating habits. You see, I don't eat a lot, but what I eat is not right. So that cheeseburger is a lustful thing for me. Oh, marron and the crunchy fries dipped in the hot sauce. And I brought that up because the Badass Buddha and I had a brief conversation before coming on. So we are responsible for our actions. No one makes us do anything. No one provokes us. No one challenges us to do anything. It's you. So figure it out. We gotta show up for ourselves. So let's start showing up. Showing up. This is all we talked about since January, in different, and then we said it in different wording, different verbiage, different act. We danced around this. We came at you with that. So are we going to what's that word, Laura? At the end of a semester, when you're handed something at the beginning of the semester.
Syllabus.
Okay, and then at the end of it, it's what? Good morning, Ian.
Nothing.
I guess the big exam, whether you fail or pass, but the
Oh
exam
yeah, your finals. You take
is
your
going to
finals.
be given by you to you, and you got to confront your failures and your achievements, because why are we going to sugarcoat the shit? Either you failed or you pass, and there's no side skipping. Everything for tomorrow. Well, guess what happens tomorrow? It becomes today. So do you really, really, really reach tomorrow? we're at the age where we don't have many tomorrows. So let's just get shit done as much as we can that benefits us and those we love around us. Let's start doing that shit today. That's it. Okay, mantra. I'm sorry.
You sure?
I had a good night's sleep, mi gente. And when I have a good night's sleep, I'm like, brrr, promotion in progress. You know what, Leanne? If you lie to yourself, catch yourself when you're being mad when somebody asks you a question. Ask yourself the avoidance that you do on purpose. Ask yourself a million and one questions before you have the audacity to come at somebody. Because if somebody's asking you a question, it's because they're concerned, because they care, because they love you.
Sometimes, not all the time.
Well, I say we should know how to discern who's the fake and who's not, so that shouldn't bother you. Like I know who's coming. Like, why are you even asking me? Why do you care? And I think that's why a lot of people, I haven't had like that unless it's been like a sidekick. And then your own kids. I mean, there's levels of deception, and they come from our children. They come from our partners. They come from outside people, but people, places, and things pretty much can be rearranged, or let's just redecorate. How's that? But you know, there's a lot. This change of seasons from summer to fall, honey, I'm falling forward. They're gonna let no one grab me and fall backwards. But you do it with love, and you do it with guidance, and you learn, and you listen, and you teach, and that's what you can do.
Well, that's why today's show is really important. It's talking about how bad do you want it. You know, this whole month of August has been take action. We have one more week left. We have two more, after today, we have two more sessions. And we're really trying to really push it into you is, you know, if you really, truly, truly want this, you will do it. And again, it's that expression, and I love this expression. If it's important to you, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. And we have to stop lying to ourselves when we make excuses for the reasons we didn't do the things that we did. You know, this has been a really big year for me into facing the fact that I've lied to myself so often, and worrying about how other people are lying to themselves and putting more emphasis and care into what they're doing, and then taking it away from me. And it's so much easier to do that, right? But you don't go anywhere when you do that. And in the end, another year has passed and you're still in the same spot. So with regards to what Gladiator Guru was talking about with, you know, it's so funny that our conversations a lot on this show do talk about what we eat and exercise when, you know, when you're in your 20s and 30s and even your early 40s, you don't care. You like, I'm going to eat whatever I want. I'm going to do whatever I want. And you do. And then it catches up to us. And then all of a sudden we have the conversation because the doctor had the conversation with us that said, well, we did some blood work and this is off. So we get to a certain age, right? So now we're all that certain age. But the bottom line is this, whether it's food or career or money or just living your life, it has to do with you saying, okay,
No más.
And really weighing out, is the short-term satisfaction worth the long-term considerations, you know? And when people say, oh, you know, I'm addicted to this food and I can't have it, I have to have this, those are all excuses. Yes, addiction is real. I am not even going to pretend that it's not. But talk to any person who's been ever addicted to drugs or alcohol who are clean and sober for years will tell you that you can get away from the addiction. You can stop. Food addictions are a little harder, of course, because you're eating. But again, it has to do with what's important to you. And if it's really that important to you, you'll keep going with it, because that's the other thing. Taking action means doing. We'll get very proud of ourselves when we actually take those steps. And we are very proud of you when you take those steps. But, and here's the but piece, how long do you take the action for? Do you take action and then do it for a month and say, oh, this isn't working? Do you do it for 2 months? Do you do it three months and say this isn't working? These are what we're trying to teach you and tell you and encourage you is taking action for this from this point going forward. You know, if you're going to start moving more and you want to be more physically active, you have got to look at the vision as the next 20 years. What do you want to be for the next 20 years? Do you want to be hobbling around and getting progressively worse, or do you want to move? Do you want to stay home and just watch the Travel Channel and look at all these beautiful places, or do you want to actually go to those beautiful places? Do you want to consistently get bullshit from your boss because the boss doesn't like you and they treat you terribly? Do you want to put up with that for another 20 years? Or do you want to say, you know what, I could find another job. It doesn't matter my age. All these things are about what you want and then going for it. But it starts with not lying to yourself. It starts with clarity of vision, all the things that we've been getting at. And again, if it's important to you, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. So some people are not ready to go. And if you've taken action and then you went back the other direction, stop yourself and say why. Don't fault yourself and give the excuse, oh, well, I couldn't do it anymore. I just can't do this. Ask yourself why. What's the real reason? What is the real reason why? Is it that I just don't believe in myself? It's too hard. If it's too hard, then seek help. You know, things that were built, the most beautiful structures in the world that were ever built, were not built by one person. They started with a vision, probably by one person, then it was shared, then the plans were created, then people had to build it. But it wasn't the person that created the vision and then built it themselves. They had a team of people. And when somebody's vision was, when they got stuck, they troubleshooted with the team, and somebody else in the team came up with the solution. There's nothing wrong with being that way in your life. However, you just need to be clear on who you are and what you want so that you cannot be talked into going in a direction that you had no intention of going into.
You know, you said something that's very important, mi gente. Listen, she said about you have to be very clear on what you want. And she was talking about weight. And right now, when she mentioned the doctor stuff, I don't know if I mentioned it last time, but it was me. I went to the doctors after 4 years and I'm borderline. And I always knew I was borderline bipolar. I mean, I don't need nobody to tell me that. But I was borderline thyroid, cholesterol, and diabetes. And I have been telling myself after I came out of my self-isolation, which was like light bulb all around me, right? And then I went straight into a job that started dimming my light. And then I was active. So I was feeling okay. And then I came to Connecticut and I felt my body. I don't know if it was very relaxed from all the trauma that I finally, through the self-isolation, then went to work. And then I was here and I was like, just gliding, just being. That my body became very relaxed, and it showed me that although I did the heart, the spirit, and the mind healing, I didn't do the body healing. So when all that came to be, I said, okay, I have to do something, right? We have to do something. And I know that I have to lose weight. First of all, my bone structure, all of that, my backache, my knee, all of that happens. I'm not going to lie to myself. I want to lose weight, but I don't want to be skinny. I don't want to be thin so that people can look at me and say I'm beautiful. I'm fucking beautiful at whatever size I decide to be. Look at me. I'm 200 pounds right now, and look at me. I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of doing. I have no shame in my game. And it's how you carry yourself and not needing outside validation. So when you start to go on this journey, I know that at first I have to this as far as my eating habits, because I do like, if you ask me to go out to eat at anything, no matter where we're going, I'm always going to say a cheeseburger and french fry. That's like my favorite. But I know I can't have that. I don't know what meats are out there. I don't know what they're putting in everything. I don't need it. So anyway, so I know that I need to lose weight. But as soon as I feel like the inflammation of weight leave, then I know that I have to dedicate myself to live in movement, which is the walking, which is the wall Pilates I'm doing and all that. Because everybody is different. And I'm not here to be Barbie. I'm not here to just be a certain weight so I can be a certain size. No, I just don't want to jiggle as much as I'm jiggling. I just want to be healthy. And I think when you talk about living abundantly, people automatically think money. To live abundantly is to be at peace with who you are. But be healthy. Because wealth is health. Because it don't matter how much money you make, if you are not healthy, then you are broke.
That's right. Health as well. Yep.
It's about who are you? Who the fuck are you in everything? And then if you don't want to deal with a certain part of you, then you know what? Just pick it up very carefully and put it aside and get back to it. Because we're not supposed to deal with everything head on. Because as women, we're emotional and we connect certain stuff. But, respect the other female's journey. Honor yours. Always walk with integrity and stop lying to yourself. Don't point out other people's lies if you're freaking forcing everybody else to chew yours. And I'm telling you, me being with certain people this week, and I'm in amazement of the bloodline. That's all I'm gonna say.
Let me ask you a question, everyone out there. Think of something right now and think about the one thing that you maybe did this week or bought this week that you said to yourself a day or two ago, I have to get this or have to do this. Like the one thing. It could be simple. It could be I have to go food shopping and get these particular items, or I have to clean this part of my house, or I have to go see this friend or whatever. But think about like one thing that you did or purchased this week that you thought in your head a day or two, or maybe in a week before, and you did it. See that, whatever it was that, and I'm not saying we're not putting any particular weight on this. It could be something that was good. It could be something that was bad. It could be like, well, I wanted to go out for ice cream last night and I did. Okay. So we're not talking about whether it's a good thing or a bad thing and how we define it. What I'm saying is
eat yogurt.
Ask yourself about what it is that you did or purchased. And the point is this, that you decided, you had clarity, you wanted it was important to you, and you did it. So you have the capability. So when it comes to the things that get out of that comfort zone, breaking that glass ceiling, it's those extra pieces. You have to push yourself a little harder to get past that. So if it's traveling, let's say, and I hear this a lot. Oh my God, solo travel. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Who were we talking to the other day? I can't remember. My sister and I were talking to somebody, and they were saying about basically I think it was my sister said something about how she solo travels, and they're like, oh my God, that's dangerous. And I immediately flew back at the person and said, actually, it's not, because you could be with a group of people. What makes traveling with another person or a group any safer? Yes, there are more risks, but that's the beauty of awareness, is you say, okay, I'm just going to be aware of my surroundings, aware of any risk that increases by traveling solo. I'm not going to go to certain locations that might be more at risk. I'm not going to put myself in danger at night. So it's about awareness, but it's about saying, so if I want to travel and nobody else wants to go to the places that I want to go to, I'm going to stop myself from going because I'm afraid to travel solo, or other people are saying to me, don't travel solo. This is your life. So you can do this. The thing is, again, constantly ask yourself, how bad do you want this? So if you are on the cusp of, hey, I've gone 2 weeks and I've been eating really well and I'm feeling better and I've lost some weight, And then you go out to a party and they're making some big, fat, juicy burgers on the grill. I'm going to throw, because you kept bringing up cheeseburgers, and they have all the fixings, and you know how they make these burgers, and they say, and you're like, oh my, and it's those ones where you buy those rolls where it's like, there's so, everything is so fat, the burger, the roll, you don't even have enough mouth.
Yeah.
And you say to yourself, oh my God, I love those burgers. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna have it today. How bad do you want this? Do you really want the burger today, or do you want to keep going on how you feel? And everybody always chooses this. No, I want the burger. I'm just gonna let myself have it. It's a convincing thing. I have to have it today. I'll do good tomorrow. Your brain is going to be like, I know you. You're going to do this all the time. We're going to go back and forth. I promise you that when you stop eating that stuff and you continue to stop eating that stuff, there will be a point in time where you have no desire for it. You look at it and you'll even go, you know what? That looks really delicious, but no thanks. I don't want it.
But I think I better not.
Or you modify it. You're like, okay, maybe I don't have to have the big bun and like loads of ketchup and barbecue sauce. I'll have the, piece of lettuce and the, believe me, it's not just about food. It's about anything. It's when we come to that precipice, when we come to that moment where we have to make that decision. Do we go back the direction we just came, or do we keep going forward? And a lot of times we'll only walk as far as we can down that path, so we still see the shoreline, walk down the path to see the shoreline. We'll go boating only so far till we see the shoreline, and then we get a little, I don't see the shoreline, we better start going back. What about all those people that have journeyed and didn't see the shoreline? It's scary, but a lot of people came back. A lot of people walked on a journey on a mountain like Gladiator Guru, knowing they weren't coming back to this point that they just left. They're going to keep going forward, and they kept going. You can do this. We all could do this, but we have to decide what is important to us, because that will decide how badly you want it. Mm-hmm. So when people, I hear it all the time, when people are working with me with weight loss, they give me all kinds of excuses, and I know because I've given them to myself. And now I'm at a point where I'm like, do you really want this? Because if you did, you would commit. If you didn't, if you don't really want this, then you're going to make every excuse in the book. And I call them out on it. And you have to, because I had to call myself. I had other people calling me out, and it's still happening. You will always be a transition. You will always be in transformation. You will always be a work in progress. But I'd like to look at it as like, I'm almost finished. Like if I'm a work in progress, I would still love to be that very completed, almost completed thing than this scrap, a heap sitting on the ground waiting for somebody to start putting them together, because that's how I've been for too many years of my life.
Linda McBee wrote, love yourself, health is wealth is what I say all the time, and why I help people with their health. Exactly. Good morning, Kathy and Leanne. What you said is absolutely right. Every journey we go on in this life is a solo journey. So why is it so hard for us women to walk into a restaurant and reserve a table for one and truly enjoy our dinner as we're sitting there? People will rather stay stagnant and continue to live mediocre than go on a solo vacation. And I know my words are always, they sound a bit more cruel, especially to those who don't want to face hearing that. But that's exactly what you choose to live, a mediocre life that's stagnant, that leaves you gasping for air, and you get so mad at your choices that you take it out on everyone around you, yes. That you're just mean when you go out. You don't share compassion or kindness. So next time you find yourself in a situation, sit your ass down and ask yourself, why am I behaving this way? Is it me? Or did someone really wound me and I haven't accepted the full pain of what someone I trusted and loved did to me? Or because let me tell you something, a lot of us get hurt and wounded because someone didn't appreciate what we did for them. And we had this conversation many shows ago. about expectations. When you do something for somebody, you do it because you want. That person has the option to accept or not, right? When you do something for someone, you don't keep score. So if you do something for me, don't expect me to pay you back because I didn't ask you to do it. So I'm taking it as, wow, this is a gift. But
Yeah.
there's people who keep score and then
Yeah.
they'll throw it in your face afterward. Then they get so angry when you call them out on their stuff that
That's
it becomes a shit
conditional.
show.
Those are conditions.
So you
Putting
don't want
condition.
that. So you need to be like, why are you giving me this? The thing is that a lot of us do that, but a lot of us do that for ourselves. We expect to be treated a certain way, and then we get angry. So remember, in everything, because the badass Buddha said a lot of important things. So I'm hoping people are taking notes because once we say something, sometimes we totally forget what we said
Oh, yeah.
verbatim. So it's hard to repeat. But what I'm saying is, you got to hold yourself accountable. That's how you break that glass ceiling. That's how you get to today's topic. It all starts and ends with you. So when you go out there in the world, don't be angry, don't be envious, and don't be jealous. Because when you are living in that triangle, the wicked triangle, guess what happens? You're cheating yourself. You're really not taking away from nobody. You're cheating yourself because you are dealing with those stages because you are a coward. Boom. I couldn't be more in your face with that. When you envy and you're jealous and you want to be judgmental, that triangle, all it says is you're a coward because you are talking about somebody who's doing things in their life because they trust themselves, because they believe in themselves, because they value themselves to the point where they're going to go on that solo vacation. They're going to go buy that sports car. They're going to go buy that 1-bedroom apartment so nobody can come live with them anymore. They're going to do that. Why? Because they are taking charge of their lives. So when you don't do any of that, you are constantly finding reasons to judge, envy,
I need
and
like
be hateful, because that's what jealousy is. Jealousy is pure evil to me. You're okay over there? You want to turn your
yeah,
table?
I can't get away from the light. Like it's
It's shining bright on you. So,
nuts.
and those people hate to be called cowards. They hate to be called
Here we go.
anything other than
It's not.
people agreeing with them, or what's the worst type of people like that? That they hide behind the curtain with it and give false compliments. But if you are who you are to yourself, you don't need a guidebook. You can detect that. You are that human lie detector. You are that bullshit counter. People just think they need things to be. No, just if once you know who you are and you're perfectly fine with who you are and you walk in your truth, it's like the minute somebody opens their mouth, yeah, here we go. I'm a magnet for assholes. I'm a magnet for self-hating people or judgmental people. And you go through that maze and then you come out and you made it. And what do? You don't tell stories of your horror. You share stories of your strength and your courage. And that's what a lot of people are missing. That's how you break that glass ceiling. You don't stay in what happened and what you endured. You say, oh my God, but I knew I had to come this way, or I had to jump over this edge. I had to leave my shoes on the mountain with Jesus and I had to run over here barefoot. You tell a story of your courage, because then you don't have time for jealousy, for envy. You don't have time to be telling tales, putting other people down. Okay? And we're all guilty of it. We're going to say, oh my God, listen, I had a conversation the other day, Buddha, and can you believe this bitch, blah, blah, blah. And it's moments and it's reality. It's things that happen. We're not creating stories to entertain each other. But you know what? Once you find somebody you say it to, it's gone on to the next project. But don't tell me what they're doing, just how they made you feel, because you're valid. Your feelings are valid. How did they make you feel? That's how you break glass ceilings. That's how you break free of the chains that you wrapped yourself around. and you locked the lock and decided to swallow the key. Well, it's time to poop it out and set yourself free and go do what you were born to do. Go stand on your 2 feet and go be a conqueror of all things that are for you. Stop living in a world of things that have been set up to be against you. When you can make that decision for yourself, who can stop you?
No one but yourself.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. That's it. If you don't believe in you, don't come to me with your stories and have me agree with you. I'm going to hurt your feelings. I'm going to hurt your feelings. And then maybe we can't be friends no more. Because everybody's lifestyles differ. And sometimes you got to remove yourself from things that you really don't like because they're always going to bother you, right? And then you continue on. We're not perfect humans. We're just human. And we're finicky little fuckers. And everybody has a different taste palette. And you have to figure out what's yours, what you will and will not tolerate, and where are your boundaries. How far are your boundaries set out?
And that's all about clarity. That's all of that is what we've been working on all these months.
The whole month.
Clear. You know, and we talked about this before, okay? So how bad do you want it? You got to get out of your environment too. You've got to experience things. Like if you say, I want to be in better shape, then go out in places and do things that require you to be physically active and observe the people around you and get to talking to people. And then that will give you an idea of where you are on that level. You know, am I as bad as I thought I was? Maybe I'm not as bad. How do I feel the next day? Am I hurt? You know, like, am I get up in the morning, I can barely get out of bed, or did I not do too badly? But you've got to get out. And the one thing that I will say for sure, since I've been in Tennessee these last few weeks, I feel like I can breathe better. I have been busy as hell. Like I have been nonstop from morning till nighttime doing stuff. It's like long, very hard days. Not every single day. There's been days where we've had a little fun and we've gone out and done stuff, but it's been very productive. But I am so aware of myself, my surroundings, of what the goals, like what I'm moving towards. And I feel like I didn't have that, you know, I don't have that back in Connecticut. But it's going to be interesting going back because I'm going to be going back in a few days and I'll be there for a month and a half and then I finally move. And I have a lot to do. And instead of being overwhelmed about it and saying, oh my God, how am I going to get all this done? I just know I have to. And I'm not going to focus on the overwhelm. I'm just going to focus on, I'm going to get it done. And if I need help, I'll get help. I mean, I have people offering, hey, I'll help you paint. Hey, I'll help you pack, like all this stuff. And I'm not saying, oh no, I got this. I'm saying, you know what, I might take you up on that. So please don't say no. And the thing is that you sometimes just really have to treat yourself to space. And if you cannot find that quiet time, that space in your own home, in your own environment, then you've got to go and get it somewhere else. Yes. That means taking a day off by yourself and not telling anybody where you're going, or spending a night overnight in another state. But whatever it is, just allow yourself to be. And if you find yourself, like you say, okay, I'm going to book this and I'm going to be at this hotel overnight because I need some time to myself. And if all you do is get to the hotel, plop on the bed and watch TV all night, if you don't get to do that normally and that's a treat for you, then good for you. But if that is your normal thing to do, then that's saying a lot, that the only thing in your life is to just do that. All you did was just change the room. The environment change helps, but you have to take advantage of what the change in environment is going to offer you. Otherwise, you're going to bring your bullshit right with you. How many times have you moved to another state or city and the same drama? How many people have you known have moved to another place and the same drama comes with them? That's telling me a lot about what they're not willing to face, and they're not willing to face their truth and deciding that the real change has to come within me, not the environment plays a role, a big one, but all I'm doing is keeping myself comfortable by bringing my crap with me and then acting like I made a big change by moving and things are supposed to be different when I'm the player in this game. Remember I told you, I had to look at my life and all the crap that happened to me. I had to take ownership of the role that I played. And the role that I played was just not paying attention and not sticking up for myself and not being very clear on who I was and what I wanted in my life. And you get taken advantage of so much when that happens. And it took me to finally wake up in midlife to say, I can't do this anymore. It's not fair. It's not fair for me, but it's not fair that everybody else gets to do whatever they want. And then I've got to sit back and be quiet and take it. And that's not going to work for me anymore. But I'm not telling other people what to do with their lives. And just don't tell me what to do with mine. You do you. And that's that. And it's a learning curve, like it's not that easy. What we say is it's easy to say it, but taking action is always more challenging. But that's where you have to always check in with yourself and have people help you be accountable to that so you stay steadfast.
You know that, hello Priscilla, my cousin. Hello Preciosa Priscilla. Such a beautiful name. Anyway, you're absolutely right about us. You can change locations. You can change your hair color. You can change every piece of furniture in your house. But if you haven't changed the one thing that drove you to those changes, you just wasted time and money. So when you decide to do something, with the good or the bad, it is your life. It is your decision. No one can tell you how to live it. You either accept or you change, right? So when the Badass Buddha ended saying about having that someone to hold you accountable, you have to be steadfast in the changes you want for your life. Because how am I going to hold you accountable if you're flip-flop?
Right. Exactly.
Okay? So you have to say, without a doubt, because people, it's not that easy. Yes, the fuck it is. Yes, no, maybe it's messy. Yes, no, maybe it's messy. So when you're in that messy spectrum, don't expect support and don't expect people to be readily available for somebody who doesn't know what they want.
Yeah.
You're that someone. That's you. When you're in the maybe zone, you got 1 foot in, 1 foot now. You can't hold God and the devil's hand at the same time and expect divineness. So, and we all go through that maybe, but it's messy. And most of the time, it's the one who chose to stand in maybe that loses, not the people around them. So, and I'm talking so passionately about this today, is because there's certain things, and I cannot help you when you don't see any problem with what you're doing. I cannot reach you if you don't feel lost.
Oh, that's so true.
And sometimes it is the closest ones to you. But even then, you have to say, how can I when you don't let me? People invite you into their business when they begin a conversation and then become so angry when you form an opinion or when you call them out on what they just said. So what you're saying is, you said this, but you're actually doing what you're telling everybody not to do.
Yeah.
Then you're enemy number one. And so I'm okay with that because there's certain scenarios where I must be the bad guy. Like in my children's lives, I will be that bad guy. But the thing is, if you want to hold yourself accountable, but you know you're on shaky ground because you just got out of the maybe zone and you don't know which way to go, that's when you find those people that will not judge you, but will say, okay, I'm with you. Let me know when to let go. But if you're not even courageous enough to admit that you done fucked up, how can you ask for help? How can you ask for understanding? How can you say, I know what I'm doing, when what you're doing is walking on the path of lies, and every step you take, you're trying to cover up. And what happens when you keep covering up bullshit? You're attracting all these flies with you. So don't tell me, no, I'm not, when I'm seeing live that you are. So it's very difficult, but it applies to all of us. Don't stand and sit in front of somebody and start saying blah 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 when you know it's a bunch of lies, because who are you to think that other person is so stupid they can't see right through it? So now, not only did you lose somebody who would be there to help you, but you're losing parts of yourself because you know you're lying. So listen, if you confront things, and you don't have to do it alone, and you don't have to bum rush it, you can do it step by step by step. This is what we've been talking about. Learn who you are step by step by step, because sometimes people can't handle the truth, not even about themselves. And what's that movie? I love it, that line in the movie, and I could never remember the movie. But when Jack Nicholson said, "You can't handle the truth," that's us in the mirror.
Leanne would know. Leanne always knows the names.
That's us
The
in
Navy
the
movie
mirror.
with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, and Demi Moore.
So yes. So you know what? That's what the life is. So you chose your life, and you chose who to be around. And if you don't like people calling you out on your bullshit, then I guess you need to.
A Few Good Men.
Yes.
I knew my
Thank
sister.
you, Leanne. So Leanne said, for divine intervention to occur, you must release yourself completely, meaning all in, no uncertainty, no waiting. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we'll go through phases where we're living that truth right there, Leanne. And it's just like Paul in the storm when Jesus called him out the boat in the storm, and he stepped out the boat and he started walking on water. Then he looked down and became afraid, and because the fear took over, he fell into the ocean. And Jesus said, "Ye of little faith." And when we speak to ourselves, that's what we have to say. I believe in you. I have faith in you. You were not born by mistake. You are born on purpose. Therefore, what is whispered into your heart should become your reality. But we fear. We don't believe in ourselves enough. And the truth is not pretty. When you have to confront somebody with the truth, you might lose them forever. But if that's mucked up, that's your path. Some will come, some will leave, some stay forever. See, I'm living in divine intervention. That's beautiful. I had a great conversation with Gail yesterday.
Oh,
And
nice.
you know what? When you choose you, then those who you love also choose themselves, because you're the greatest role model they can have. But when you flip-flop, maybe not, maybe not. No. Let me tell you, I love walking. It's the getting up, getting dressed, and getting out the house to walk. That is like the biggest demon blocking. He's like a giant. Yesterday I said, move over. Okay? And you love it. And you live it. And every day is one step at a time. I'm not going to lose 50 pounds in a month, but I'm going to lose what it takes to get off that borderline. Because I don't like standing on borderlines. I like crossing over.
Well, and that's, you brought up a good point. I mean, we've become accustomed to things happening very rapidly. Society has been built that way, instant gratification. You know, if our package from Prime takes 2 days, we're like, what the hell? It's supposed to be here the next day. I mean, nothing good. Well, I don't want to say nothing good, but most things do take some time. And I think that's where part is the problem too, is that sometimes we do want it, we do go for it, but then we have this time frame in our head. And the thought is, this is what I've learned about with weight loss and health. Who cares how long it's going to take to lose it? Like if you're losing a pound a month or 2 pounds a month, I know it's slow and it's almost incomprehensible, but if you keep doing it steadily over a period of time, you will lose a certain amount. And if you're exercising and you're strengthening your muscles, you're burning fat. So think of it in terms of, okay, it's unrealistic that I lose 50 pounds in a month, but maybe it's a little bit realistic that I can lose 10 pounds in a month. And 10 pounds is a lot. And then even that is a lot for a month. However, that's a lot of weight. And it's a noticeable difference. And it's not just about looking good, it's about feeling good. The bottom line is that you just have to know that it took you years to create the you that you are today. Your weight, your health, your thought processes, your belief systems, it took years. And if you all of a sudden woke up this morning and said, holy crap, my whole life has been a lie. I've been lying to myself for years. I did everything that I had wanted to accomplish, I didn't do. Now, before you get up on top of the tallest building and get ready to jump, we want you to just say, okay, but guess what? I put myself here. I can undo this, and it will take time. And then before you say, well, I'm getting older, I needed to go faster. You know what? Things can go faster. We don't have to go as slow, but what we want you to do is just set a pace and say, I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep going. And before you know it, look at this. We're in August. What if you had said in January, I'm going to start walking daily. I'm going to build up to walking 5 miles a day. I'm going to be eating better. And you kept going, all kinds of weather. Didn't matter if you went away on vacation. If you had done this January 1 to now, what amount of weight would you have lost? How good would your health have been? But you didn't. And that's the point. If you had said, I'm going to go to school and take a class January 1, and then maybe another class if I can handle it, how far would you have been by now? Time just comes. It's always going. We're the ones that think, like Gladiator Guru started the whole conversation this morning. We think we have so much time.
And we don't.
So rather than saying, you know what, I'm too old, well, you're right. You're right. You made yourself right. So then don't do anything. But if that's your choice, if you're not going to do anything, you're not going to change your life for the way you really want it to be, don't complain about it. Don't hate on other people who are making
Get out of the way. That's right.
Get out of the way. That's a good point.
Get out of the way. Why are you blocking me? You know, don't do that. Let me tell you something. Because I know that just walking alone puts me in a great, great place. But I don't want to be with inflammation. I don't want to deal with bloatedness. So you have to change how you look at life. And with what's going on in our foods today, we all got to take a better, closer look at what we're buying, right? And that's a whole other show. People want to walk around with blinders like shit ain't happening. And then what? What do you do? How do you speak your truth when you're not speaking truths? But you have to just realize it. And we're like cutting it really on time today. You have to realize that when you believe that we don't have time, and when you come to the sabiduría, to have that wisdom that, oh my God, I wasn't born by mistake. Start seeking what your purpose is. Start discovering what you're good at. What are you good at? You want this high 6-figure paying job, but you volunteering at the soup kitchen is what brings you the much joy you've ever felt in your adult life. But you can't serve at the soup kitchen as much because to make those 6 figures, you're working almost 7 days a week. So you have no life. So you got to find a medium. What job is going to allow you to be rich in service than in money? Money comes and goes, just like emotions. They come to you to go through you, and then what? So you base
it's not a trade-off. It's just a matter of saying, okay, if I want to have a certain amount, what job can I do that will allow me to have the finance that I want, but then also have that pleasure of serving? You know, maybe it's a job that requires you to work at a certain time now, and then during the day you can go do service to others. But it's about clarity. It's about saying, well, this is important and this is important to me. And I don't believe that we necessarily have to trade off tremendously. I think a lot we've grown accustomed to saying, well, if I'm going to have this, I have to give up this. I think that we are very resourceful and we can figure ways out. Sometimes, yes, you do. but other times not. So don't just throw it out completely. Just open yourself up. And it's about, again, you, clarity. What's important to you? How bad do you want it? You want to make good money, but you also want to do that. Figure it out. You could figure it out.
And
Maybe
it's all figure outable.
maybe you have a side hustle that allows you to sell things online, and then you don't. You're doing it in the. You're sitting here watching your little show, and you're selling stuff at the same time. I mean, you're really good about that. That we all are. We all have those capabilities.
Yes, I do. Even in my self-isolation, I made money with my craft. But what I'm saying is when you have that six-figure job and you're working all these hours and you're miserable, then it's not about trading off no money to having all this money. It's about finding a balance. And sometimes the more money we make, the more problems we take on. You got to look at it. Money is something that moves us. We need it in life. It's needed. It's just like breathing. Without money, we can't survive, right? But you got to find what she said. You got to find that medium. You got to say, what is it that I can do that I can have this and do this? And it's doable. How many attorneys? I think you were at the Justa Tu Corona when that attorney spoke. And she gave up being an attorney because all her life, all she wanted to do was be a baker. And nobody could understand how she was leaving her partner. She was a partner in a law firm. How she was ready. She just decided one day, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to bake. And nobody could understand her. And it almost prevented her from doing it. But she was like, she was up there too. She was late 60s. So I think time was, of the essence for her. But she finally did it. And sometimes it's not about what you have. It's where you need to be.
Yeah, it's true. I met a lady once she was like I don't want to say a producer, but she was somebody within the realm of the Dr. Oz show. She had been in that business for a really long time behind the scenes, and her last big gig was Dr. Oz. And I met her because she hired me to speak at a adult community center to talk about pain management, natural ways, treatments, all that stuff. And she was the director of, the activities director. And she said to me, she loves it. She goes, I was in New York City. I was making a lot of money and I just couldn't do it anymore. She says, I'm here in Massachusetts. I love what I do. I love the people. And I don't make nearly the money I was making. She's like, but I'm so happy with what I'm doing. So it is about, sometimes experiences help us decide to what's important to us, and we change over a course of time. What we thought might have been important to us maybe isn't, or maybe it still is, but not in that exact realm anymore. But again, it's about knowing clearly who you are, what you want, not lying to yourself, and then going for it. How bad do you want it? Last thing here, let's see. Kathy says, I want to say I love the direction Viva Cafe con Leche has taken this year. I really appreciate you incredibly. Oh, thank you, Kathy. We appreciate that. We really do. Thank you so much for that. Well, we are at the top of the hour, and I asked Gladiator Guru if we could have a hard stop today because I have a full day with my kids. So I want to, anything in last minute, Gladiator Guru, you want to say?
You know what? I think the only thing we can leave you with is challenge yourself. Everything we've spoken about since January is, are you up for the challenge? Are you up for the challenge to be present in your life? Because if you are present in your life, then everything else would just fall into place. Because by being present, you can use discernment. And by choosing wisely in your life, you get rid of the excess and you live with what you need to accomplish what you want. Nothing more, nothing less. Remember, too much of something is not good. Too little of something is not good. You got to find that balance. No middle ground, but the balance.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the light doesn't weigh as much as your darkness. So you're going to be off balance.
Nice.
Okay.
All right. Well, we need to leave
that,
with them.
The badass has to go, and we'll see you on Tuesday, mi gente.
Yes,
Thank
have
you,
a great
Tati.
weekend, everybody. And from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, mi gente, remember to breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.